I'm going to raise this a little bit. It's good to be here tonight. But I haven't been in Chicago in a long time. I mean, I've been in Chicago, but not performing in Chicago for a long time. So I'm very excited about this. Here's my story called The Allman Brothers Fan. I decided I wanted a tall, skinny burnout for a boyfriend to go along with the weed I was smoking. I preferred that he be a musician, and since I worked at a music store, eventually I found one. He was a huge Allman Brothers fan. I went along with the whole Allman Brothers thing because I wanted him to like me. The only song I knew was Ramblin' Man, but I could pull it off since he was really only listening to himself talk about the band. Their music is a little too sing-songy for me, but I made a point to go with the flow. I sat on the couch and watched him play air guitar while I did a little jamming with my neck. I prefer darker music that can slam your fist on the steering wheel to or bang your head against the headrest to the beat of the bass drum. But I didn't know their music enough to really hate it. I try to slide into someone's life with little to no impact. The last thing I want to be is annoying. My boyfriends would say I'm easygoing, but really I'm just a hardcore codependent with people to please. I like what they like, I do what they do, I eat what they eat, I'm agreeable with a touch of inner rage and boredom. I'm not really... sure any of my ex-boyfriends would have liked me back then, but we'll never know because I have no idea who showed up. It's really a lot to expect someone to guess who you are, and if you don't tell them you really don't like Birkenstocks or tofu or jazz fusion or rock climbing or Star Wars, how are they supposed to know? I had a boyfriend who sold snakes. He put them in a brown paper bag to hand deliver them to clients. I carried 9 snakes in a paper bag to work just so he could make a sale. I said I had no problem with snakes, but of course I did. I wouldn't consider myself a fan of snakes. My new Allman Brothers boyfriend could have been Greg Allman's stunt double, but he was way too much of a stoner to master any stunts. He had long blonde hair and a beard, but all I ever did see him do was smoke a bowl and vacuum his apartment. I don't even know if he could really play guitar. He'd pick it up sometimes, but he'd never plug it in. He was everything Allman Brothers. He had records for the apartment, tapes for the car, t-shirts, posters, mushroom patches and pins, peaches, peaches, peaches. He even had an Eat a Peach nightlight. I mean, he probably got it for Christmas. What else would you get this guy? I shape-shifted into whoever I needed to be to fit in his life. I thought that's how it worked. Boy, was I ever wrong. It's nice to have a few things in common, but no one wants to date their twin unless the person is a controlling freak and likes the idea of a girlfriend, but in theory only. Then you're perfect. Eventually, I couldn't tell you what I liked and what I didn't like anymore. I couldn't decide. I didn't know what to eat, let alone anything as important as what music I was into. I was a mishmash of every boyfriend I ever had. I didn't even own a pair of jeans that didn't come with some kind of history attached. But I fell madly in love with this guy, or so I thought. He had his own apartment filled with plants. We would get high and listen to, big surprise, Allman Brothers. He had a lot of clothes that he would wash and lay on hot heat on the bed, fresh out of the dryer. Then he'd sleep on them. Kind of weird, but in the moment I probably said, what a coincidence, I do that too. Which of course I wouldn't even think of doing. I fold my clothes and put them in the dresser or hang them on hangers and put them in the closet. I'd never even think of leaving them in a basket, let alone using them as a sheet set. But our love affair lasted a few weeks. I was way too into him, considering these were the only things I knew about him. I was too busy worrying about whether or not he liked me to stop and figure out if I liked him. I wanted a boyfriend that would rescue me from my past. I had suffered a string of romantic tragedies. It was a tall order I didn't even know I had. I'm sure he could sense the pressure that I wasn't even aware that I was putting on him. We were broken, and the fragments of our lives fit together in that moment of time. He was on the rebound. I didn't even know what that meant, but I was about to find out. There was a smoky sadness about him that I felt, unfortunately, found attractive. This is what happened. Out of the blue, he stopped answering the phone. He disappeared from my life and left me standing without air. I felt hollow inside. My life completely stopped. I couldn't sleep for fear I'd miss his call. My thoughts consumed me so much I couldn't work. I finally mustered up the courage to get in my car and go to his apartment. I didn't really know what I was looking for, but I couldn't handle the way he abruptly cut me off. I felt like if I could just talk to him, I'd feel better. He could fix me and I wouldn't feel as devastated and hopeless. When I got to his apartment, I sat in my car and I stared at all the sliding glass doors of his apartment building, one after the other with balconies stacked one on top of the other, each with their own sliding door. They had barbecues and wind chimes and flags and potted plants. Every door led to a life I wasn't living. I wondered how people did it. How do they go on when something like this happens? Now what? When I got to the door, I heard voices. I stood out there and listened to them for a long time. I had my ear to the door like a freak. I could hear a girl's voice. I wasn't sure what to do when I thought I heard them getting ready to leave. I backed down the hall and acted like I was walking into the building when they came out of the door. He looked like he was gonna run, but then he approached me like a sister. He introduced her as his fiancée. She was not in the least bit taken aback. I, on the other hand, felt like I was wading through soup. They were both talking at once. She had come by to get her plants. She had her belongings in her car because she was moving from one friend's house to the other's, but they got back together, and she moved her stuff back into his apartment. Needless to say, the plants stayed right where they were. A thought bubble formed above my head. So, the plants weren't even his. Was anything he told me true? Maybe she was the Allman Brothers fan, hence the attraction. What is going on here? I'm confused. Man, she's fucking skinny. How ironic. She's a prettier version of Cher. Didn't Greg Allman marry Cher? Oh shit, he's smiling. I've never seen him smile. He's wearing glasses. This is fucking weird. Oh, I have them trapped in the hall. I should move. Maybe I'm asleep. I don't know. I don't feel well. He said he kept meaning to call me, blah, 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 blah. He said they were engaged now. She was very happy. She actually showed me the ring. I finally let them pass and suddenly realized I was standing in the hall and I didn't live there. So I followed them out the door. They got in their car and they waved. I got in mine and we drove away. And that was that. I was in shock. I went back to my apartment by the train tracks and sat on the steps. I watched the trains go back and forth all night. The morning light came over the sky, but the sun didn't come with it. It started pouring rain. I was glad. I hate when I'm sad and it's fucking sunny. Generally, I prefer clouds. I went inside and listened to the song Daisy Jane by America over and over and over again. Lyrics mean what I need them to mean sometimes, despite the intention of the writer. I couldn't tell you the actual words to that song, but I could tell you what they meant. Daisy Jane didn't know if she would make it. A piece of her had died. I sat on the floor in front of the turntable and kept picking up the needle and setting it back at the beginning. My roommates told me he was a total jerk, but I was inconsolable. Even if he had gone about it in a more sensitive way, I would have come apart. Thank you. So I have a song for you that is exactly this story. I'm saying no. You can't hear me, but I'm saying no. In my head, down real low. That's what I said. I'm moving slow, but I'll get there yet. When it's safe, I'm practicing when I think it's safe. Will you love me if I don't go? When I don't want to, I'll let you know. I learned if you still. I'm easygoing. It's important to be easygoing. The last thing that I want is to disagree. It leaves me not much choice. I gotta people please. Gotta people please. I'm not that brave, but I wanna be. It's only fear that strangles me, keeps me quiet when I should speak up.